Good morning to one and all. On behalf of Department of Pharmacology, Faculty of Pharmacy, Ramaya University of Applied Sciences, I, Satya Ramo, Assistant Professor, Department of Pharmacology, extends a warm welcome to all of you for the webinar on Alternatives to Animal Experimentation 5R Concept. It's my privilege to introduce to you our eminent speaker for today, Dr. S. Kavimani, before starting the session. Dr. S. Kavimani is currently Professor and Head of Department of Pharmacology at Mother Teresa Postgraduate and Research Institute of Health Sciences, Puducherry. He graduated undergraduate from Madras Medical College, Chennai, PG and PhD from Jadavpur University, Kolkata. He qualified GATE exam in the year 1991. He has 27 years of teaching and research experience. Dr. Kavimani has guided 42 PhD students in the past and is currently guiding 7 PhD students. He has total 230 publications to his credit, along with 2 books and 1 chapter in Elsevier publications. He is a member of expert committee for PCI, AICTE and NBA. He is also a member of board of academic committee in Pondicherry University, MS University, Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Kakinada and Annamalai University. He is also a visiting faculty for Pondicherry University and MS University. With this brief introductory note, I would like to welcome you all once again to the webinar. Now, I request Dr. S. Kavimani sir to take over the session.
Thank you, Satya Madam. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Anbu, Head of the Department of Pharmacology, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to meet today's participant. And also, I thank Mr. Tamar Naik, who has arranged this trial and all, and Mohammad Asmatullah and Hajra Banu Madam, dear participants. Good morning to all. In this webinar, I will be discussing about the alternatives to animal experimentation 5R concept. And this is the image of my institute, which is located in Pondicherry. The content of my lecture is the data obtained from the animals were reliable or not to the extent of human use. Second thing is 5R concept in alternative test methods. The third one is replacement alternatives for teaching and research in pharmacology. The fourth one is non-animal testing procedures. The fifth one is some of the animal procedures which do not come under any legislation. So this will be the content of my lecture for next 1 hour. So the part of my lecture, I have taken it from this book called From Guinea Pig to Computer Mouse. This is the book published by InterNICH. InterNICH is nothing but International Network for Humane Education. And part of my lectures, which I have taken from the journal exclusively for alternatives to animal experimentation called ALTEX. So here I have given an example of this journal of volume 37, number 2 of 2020, where you can see the in vitro human fracture hematoma model, a tool for preclinical drug testing. As a pharmacologist, we know that it is very difficult to fully use the human fracture hematoma model in animals. So in these circumstances, we can go for the in vitro human fracture hematoma model for evaluation of pharmacological activities. So now, is the testing on animals is a reliable way, whether the results obtained from the animals can be transformed into human being? No. I would like to give some of the examples. For example, penicillins kills cat and guinea pig. but it is a life-saving drug in human being. Even though it produces anaphylactic reaction in human being, that is comes under type 2 adverse drug reactions, all are not susceptible for anaphylactic reactions of penicillin. Whereas all the cat and guinea pig are susceptible for anaphylactic reaction, and the penicillin can able to kill these animals. Arsenic, we know that it is a heavy metal which is highly poisonous to human, but it is not at all poisonous to rat, mice or sheep. Morphine, a CNS depressant, is a sedative for human, but it is a CNS stimulant for cat, goat and horse. Distralase, which dangerously increasing the blood pressure in dog, but not in human being. The next example I would like to give is cleoquinol. The cleoquinol, the drug manufactured and marketed in Japan during 1970s for the treatment of diarrhea. But it actually caused diarrhea after the post-marketing surveillance. Apart from that, the cleoquinol can able to produce 30,000 cases of blindness or paralysis, which is not observed during the animal studies. So this is the best example of thalidomide tragedy during 1960s. More than 20,000 children were born. Thalidomide is teratogenic in human, but it unable to produce teratogenic property in rat. Thalidomide is not at all have teratogenic potential in animals. That means in rodent, but it is teratogenic in human. So by quoting these examples, here you can see almost irrespective of their specialization, PG or PhD student used to do the project work by using some of the transplantable tumor cell lines or by using some in vitro culture, cell culture. The history of cancer research has been a history of curing cancer in the mouse. So we can cure number of mice of cancer for decades, but it simply did not work in human because the pathophysiology of the tumor progression is somewhat different in animals from the human being. Currently 9 out of 10 experimental drugs fails in clinical studies. Why? Because we cannot accurately predict how they will behave in people based on laboratory and animal studies. So by quoting all these references, the animals lover organization, for example, Blue Cross, PETA, or Peoples for Animals, or Protection of Animal Rights Association, all these organizations were against the use of animals for the experimentation purpose and research purpose. So based on the recommendation of this organization, the university grant commissions have sent a circular to all the universities during July 2014 stating that no animals will be utilized for teaching or research purpose unless otherwise it is approved by Institutional Animal Ethical Committee, which is under the control of CPCSEA. So now I'm going to discuss about the alternative test methods, which is coming under 5R concept. The one is replacement. I will be giving more importance on the replacement because as a staff member of Department of Pharmacology, we are facing many difficulties to conduct the regular practical classes. So the replacement alternatives for teaching pharmacology as well as research pharmacology, I will be concentrating on it. The second R is refinement. Whatever the experiments, whatever the research which we are doing has to be in a refined manner. For example, use of animal restrainer, use of anesthetics, or use of euthanasia, etc. The third R is reduction. As much as possible, we have to reduce the usage of number of animals. For example, in conventional methods of LD50 determination, Litchfield-Wilcoxon, Corpus method, Miller and Tainter method, we have been utilizing hundreds of animals for determination of the LD50. But after implementation of the OECD guidelines 420 is fixed dose procedure, 423 is acute toxic class method, 425 up and down method, 402 limit test, and 401 by using either of these OECD guidelines, maximum with 10 animals, we can able to arrive the LD50 of new chemical entity. The fourth R is rehabilitation. At the end of experiments, what we are going to do, the animals, the rehabilitation. The fifth R is responsibility of each and every researchers to follow the replacement, refinement, reduction, and rehabilitation methods of 4R. So this is the 5R concept in usage of animals. So now I said the CPC SCA committee for the purpose of control and supervision of experiments on animal model, which mainly follows various OECD guidelines. I don't want to go much on the OECD. Right now, the replacement alternatives for teaching pharmacology. And this is the CD which was the complementary for Indian Journal of Pharmacology during 2003. This software is called CAL, Computer Assisted Learning. This was framed by Dr. Ravindran, Professor of Pharmacology, JIPMER, with the help of Perumal Kalati, who is the computer programmer. Now this has been, the copyright now has been given to Elsevier. So this particular CD explains 4 programs. One is XFarm, the second one is Microlabs, the third one is PharmaTutor, the fourth one is WinSims. So this PharmaTutor is based on the simple pharmacokinetic studies. WinSims is the clearance studies. The Microlabs is sign and symptoms of on animals after administration of certain drugs, and XFarm is for doing some practicals. On this particular CD, that program is got Humani Education Award during 2003. This award has been given by the International Network for Humani Education. As per this XFarm, we can perform so many experiments. Some of the experiments I have listed out. Many colleges are using this XFarm program. Rabbit eye experiment, bioassay, histamine effect of drugs on frog's heart, drugs on dog blood pressure and heart rate, and effect of drugs on ciliary movement of frog esophagus. So these XFarm have a dual advantage. One is it have both tutorial mode as well as examination mode. So we can teach as well as we can conduct examination by using this particular software. So now the Microlabs software. The Microlabs is by Norcapa. This is Microlabs for pharmacologists. By using this particular software, you can demonstrate the sign and symptoms in animals after administration of these certain drugs. So I would like to give some of the experiments, some of the sign and symptoms. For example, this is the strap tail reaction. After administration of the morphine, as you know that morphine produces contraction of the anal sphincter, thereby erection of the tail. Now this is the circling movement If we give drugs like cocaine, the cocaine produces circling movement in animals, the repetitive behavior. This is catalepsy induced by chlorpromazine.
The mouse has taken up quite an abnormal position, and it will stay more or less indefinitely in that position.
All antipsychotic phenothiazine and buprenorphine derivatives can able to produce catalepsy, so that we can demonstrate to the students. So this is salivation. Cholinergic drugs can able to increase secretions, all the secretions of our body. Here we can see after administration of the pilocarpine, there was increased secretions of the saliva. Now this is picrotoxin induced convulsion. Any CNS stimulant on higher concentration produces convulsion, whether it is a cortical stimulant or medullary stimulant or respiratory stimulant on higher concentration. Any CNS stimulant produces convulsion. So this is picrotoxin induced convulsions in experimental animals. So now we can observe the convulsions induced by picrotoxin. Now this is a writhing movement, the only method which is available for evaluation of non-narcotic analgesics is acetic acid induced writhing. So now we can observe the writhing movement. So this is called the writhing. So like this, around 57 signs and symptoms in animals after administration of various drugs can be demonstrated by using this microlabs software. The next software which I am going to discuss is Xcology. The Xcology, which was originally designed by C.R. Patel of R.C. Patel Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research in Shirpur, in the state of Maharashtra, nearby Aurangabad. This college was approved by NBA. When I went as an NBA expert, I got this particular CD from the Dr. C.R. Patel of R.C. Patel Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. And on request to that particular college, you can get this CD. So after in this what you call the CD, in left hand side you can see equipments, animals, techniques and experiments. On right hand side, frogs, heart, tissues, bioassay and whole animals. So whatever the equipments which we are going to use in experimental pharmacology, especially which we are keeping as a starter for pharmacology practicals, can be explained by this program. And animals with their zoological name and what is the advantage and disadvantages of the rodent, guinea pig, rabbit, etc. can be studied by using this particular software. And what are the techniques? How we are going to give drugs by intravenous route or by oral route, and how we are going to remove blood sample from by the tail vein or from the eye puncture or cardiac puncture. Everything can be demonstrated by using these techniques and the experiments. And if you go to the experimental section, and these are all the experiments related to frog's heart, isolated tissue preparations, bioassay, and experiments related to whole animals. So in whole animals, we can able to do these 7 experiments: LD50 determination, pyrogen testing, analgesics, stimulant and depressant by active photometer, muscle relaxant by rotor rod, anti-epileptic by convulsiometer, and effect of various drugs on rabbit's eye. So here I would like to give 2 experiments, rabbit eye experiment. This is the screenshot only. Here, in this I think it will be demonstrated by your staff members. So by using this software, you can see the touch reflex and light reflex. The touch reflex and light reflex is very much important to differentiate various mydriatic drugs. For example, the touch reflex is absent, it is lignocaine. The light reflex is absent, that is atropine. And by using this, you can differentiate which is active mydriasis and which is passive mydriasis. Now this is a electroconvulsiometer. Here we can deliver, we can apply the particular volt of current by using the ear electrode. So here is this pinna is the sensitive part, like our cornea. Some of them use corneal electrodes, some of them use ear electrodes. So this produces various phases of the convolution, like flexion, extension, clonus, stuffer, etc. Here, if you want, you can give shock by pressing this button. Right. So this is for teaching pharmacology. Now this was the experiment which I carried out by using the dog in Periyar College of Pharmaceutical Sciences for Girls during 1994. And this is myself. So this is very tedious, very complicated, at the same time it's very interesting practicals where we have to identify the given unknown nature of the drug by using agonist and antagonist. Nowadays, it is not at all possible to use a drug because it is completely banned. Now, we have a software called CardioLab. CardioLab software is by the Biosoft company. And here, this is the price, US $135, etc. And here you can download for demonstration, demo version, you can download. So the name of the software is In Vivo Cardiovascular Pharmacology Simulator, where we can explain the effect of various agonists and antagonists in respiratory rate, blood pressure, and pulse rate. For example, here I have given isoproterenol induced fall in BP and increased heart rate. So this, by using this software, we can differentiate various drugs which produces hypotension. For example, vagal stimulation produces hypotension, isoprenaline, acetylcholine produces histamine, produces hypotension. So histamine, acetylcholine, isoprenaline, vagal stimulation produces hypotension, but only isoprenaline can able to increases the heart rate. So if your drug produces fall in BP at the same time increases the heart rate, definitely it will be the isoprenaline. And this is one of the important software which is used nowadays in PG institutions. Right. Now, there are some other softwares which I will be reading out. MacPrac 2.2, Mouse Watch, Pharma Calculator, PharmaSim, and PharmaTutor. So the description of this software, you can get it from the book which I have shown initially, From Guinea Pig to Computer Mouse. So far what I have discussed is replacement alternative for teaching. Now I am going for replacement alternatives for research. So the first software which I am going to explain you is drug likeness tool. So here this we can download. The tutorial also we can download and we can do it, which was designed by the Department of Pharmacoinformatics of NIPER in Punjab. So by using this drug likeness tool, we can imply the Lipinski rule of 5 goose filtered molecule, CMC 50 filter. There are so many filters that you have to select the filter and you have to apply our incorporation of the physicochemical properties of this particular new chemical entity. The drug likeness tool is a set of guidelines for the structural property of the compounds used for the fast calculation of drug-like properties. It is not said to be drug, it can be a drug. So it is an open source virtual screening tool. Its calculation is mainly based on various drug likeness rules like Lipinski rule. As you know that molecular weight should be less than 500, log p value less than 5, hydrogen bond donor capacity less than 5, and hydrogen bond acceptor should be less than 10. And this is Lipinski rule of 4. What is 5? Is nothing but all these readings are multiples of the 5, so that this is called Lipinski rule of 5. So here another thing is here you can see this blood-brain barrier likeness. Suppose if you want to do some research with your new chemical entity on Parkinsonism or Alzheimer or any other diseases related with the central nervous system, the first criteria is our new chemical entity should cross blood-brain barrier. If the compound unable to cross blood-brain barrier, there is no question of doing research on that particular new chemical entity with that particular CNS activity. So this is initial screening methods. So for example, we have MDDR like rule. MDDR like rule is nothing but number of rings, number of rigid bond, and number of rotatable bond, etc. And we have Weber's filter. Weber's filter is nothing but how many number of rotatable bonds are present, and by observing that we can see what will be the overall bioavailability. So the Weber rule is to predict whether it's can be given by oral route or not. We have a goose filter, we have CMC 50 filter, etc. So this is a very much useful tool for initial screening. The next software which I am going to discuss is test software. Test software is nothing but toxicity estimation software tool. So this is by the help of Java application. We can do this. This was originally designed by the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency of United States. So these are QSARs, mathematical models used to predict the measures of toxicity from the physical characteristics of the structure of chemical. Otherwise, it is called molecular descriptors. The best example of this is the drug which have nitrobenzene radical, example chloramphenicol. We can say only drug which have nitrobenzene radical in its structure is chloramphenicol, which is highly toxic to the hemopoietic system. So the hemopoietic toxicity is only due to the nitrobenzene radical. If any of your new chemical entity have nitrobenzene radical, we can definitely say that it is highly toxic to the hemopoietic system. So here, no need of any external program. The user input is a chemical to evaluate. You have to draw the structure of it by using a chemical sketcher window, by entering a structure text file into the program so that we can able to evaluate. The next one is Protox 2. The Protox 2, it is another program which is for prediction of the toxicity of particular chemicals. There are 33 models for the prediction of various toxicity endpoint. By using this Protox 2, we have 33 models for the prediction of various toxicity endpoint. To point something, acute toxicity, hepatotoxicity, cytotoxicity, carcinogenicity, mutagenicity, immunotoxicity, etc. This is tox prediction software where you can get it from tox.chariot.de. Here, the PubChem name, as the example, damoxifen. This is the structure of damoxifen that has to be incorporated. In canonical smells has to be incorporated. And if we select any one of these organ toxicity endpoint or toxicity 21 nuclear receptor signaling pathway. So by selecting all these things, we can able to predict the toxicity of a particular compounds. The next software which I'm going to discuss is ChemTox. The ChemTox is again a toxicity prediction directly from its chemical structure. Here we can get it from the cyprotex.com. The cyprotex.com in silico physiological modeling ChemTox is also useful software. Now, if you go to the toxnavigation.com, navigation.com, you will find a number of softwares for toxicology. So one of the most important software is ChemTunes, Tox GPS. So this is very useful software to find out the probable toxicity of your new chemical entity. Some other softwares is called Simulation Plus. Under the Simulation Plus, we have three. One is GastroPlus, the second is ADMET Predictor, the third one is DiliSim. So by using this GastroPlus, it is physiologically based pharmacokinetic modeling. Physiologically based pharmacokinetic modeling. This particular software simulates intravenous oral cavity, ocular inhalation, dermal, subcutaneous, intramuscular absorption of drugs. What will be the plasma concentration after the various routes of administration that we can mimic, that we can simulate by using the GastroPlus software. The next software is ADMET Predictor, absorption, distribution, metabolism, elimination, and toxicity. It is a QSA or modeling software. It is based on SAR patterns. The next software is DiliSim. This is a drug-induced liver injury. DILI means drug-induced liver injury. The capability of a new chemical entity to induce hepatotoxic reaction can be studied by using this particular software called DiliSim. Right. Now we are going to discuss about the molecular docking. I said irrespective of their specialization, whether it is pharmaceutical chemistry or pharmacology or whatever may be the project work which is related with the drug discovery process, we used to go for molecular docking because it is very easy to carry out. So molecular docking is nothing but it's a bioinformatic modeling which involves the interaction of two or more molecules to give a stable adduct. Depending upon the binding properties of the ligand and target, it predicts three-dimensional structure where we are going to find out what will be the docking score, binding energy, etc. Around 67 softwares are available at present for the molecular docking. To list some of them were Sanjeevani by IIT Delhi, Gold by University of Cambridge, UK, Autodoc by USA, Scripps Research Institute, GemTalk by Taiwan University, Hex Protein Docking by University of Aberdeen, UK, and GRAM, GRAMM is by University of Kansas, USA. These softwares which I have mentioned in these slides are freely downloadable. To list some of them were dog flex, hammerhead, surplex, slide, autodoc, ICM, big dog, gold, gemtalk, freight, glide, yucca, and wheel life. And these, some of the softwares were freely downloadable, some of them were paid version. So this is about the molecular docking. Right. Now, with respect to the replacement alternatives, I guess it's software is available. Now I'm going to discuss about the utilization of the animals, which is not comes under any legislation. For the use of these animals, you need not to get permission from the institutional animal ethical committee. It is not coming under CPCSA. So the most important experimental animals for teaching as well as research is the zebrafish. The zoological name of zebrafish is Danio radio. These embryos are very transparent, develop externally from mothers. The embryos develop externally from mothers means we can directly assess the effect of our drugs on the internal organs. Whether is there any toxicity on organogenesis, that can be evaluated. So here, whatever the diagram which I have given is 2 days post-fertilization zebrafish larva, and the complete organogenesis we can see. Many organs may be visualized using a simple stereo microscope. So this zebrafish is phylogenetically more distant from the humans than rodents, but they possess orthologs of 82% of the human disease-associated gene. There is a resemblance between fish and human. About 82% of the human disease associated gene, so that this is one of the important animal used for the research purpose nowadays. So here I would like to give the major difference between the zebrafish and the rodent. The first thing is no need to get permission from any authorities. Zebrafish. The second thing is it is economy. See, as a head of the department, I know what is the difficulties of procuring animals. We are procuring animals from your region, Bangalore. Only for the transportation, we are paying 7,000 rupees. Only for the transportation, 7,000 rupees. Apart from that, the cost of the animals. For zebrafish, it is very easy to get the zebrafish. It can be saltwater fish or normal water fish. Is inexpensive, I said, and we can easily induce diabetes mellitus by simple immersion in high glucose water. If we immerse the zebrafish in high glucose water, the acute diabetes mellitus can be induced, like adrenaline-induced hyperglycemia for short term. In rodent, it is not like that. If you use Alaxone or streptozotocin to induce diabetes, the mortality rate will be high. Before starting our experiments, around 20% of the animals may die because of hyperglycemia. Here, adult and larval zebrafish are suitable for screening studies. Fluorescence imaging of whole organism is possible. Fluorescence imaging of whole organism is possible for glucose uptake analysis in zebrafish, which is not possible in rodent. So by using this zebrafish, I have done some experiments in our laboratory. Even though the video quality, because it is not pre-planned, we have taken the video when the action comes like that. So this is conversion induced in zebrafish by administration of the pycnotoxin. This experiment was done by our B pharmacy students. We are not worrying about whether it is zebrafish or ornamental fish. The students used to get the ornamental fish. A pair of fish is only 30 rupees. pair of 2 fish, only 30 rupees. So with the 30 rupees, I can able to demonstrate the convalescent action of piclotoxin. Here the local anesthetic action. You can see the animals rotates and see where I can see the rotation of the animals and become immobile. The fish, when is kept in water with the addition of lignocaine and various concentrations, I have calibrated. Actually, I have calibrated by administration of by immersing it with various concentration of the lignocaine. Finally, we can able to arrive one particular concentration of lignocaine that produce local anesthetics action in zebrafish. So this is the heartbeat of zebrafish. I said the organs are visible externally because it is very transparent. The larva is transparent. So isoproterenol induced cardiotoxicity and protection of the tested drug production by our tested drug can be demonstrated by zebrafish heart experiment. And this is the video which I have downloaded from the internet. By using this particular video, we can able to demonstrate the various stages of the general anesthesia. The stage 3 of anesthesia, animals become immobile, the fish becomes immobile. When the animals are transferred, when the fish is transferred into normal water, then we can see the animal is slowly recovering. So now the fish is returned to the normal water. So this is general anesthetics. All right. Now there is an exclusive journal for the research associated with the zebrafish, and here name of the journal is Zebrafish, Volume 1, Number 1, the first issue of the Zebrafish journal was in 2004, where the author demonstrated the efficacy of clove oil as an anesthetics for the zebrafish. Then your review. As you know, the clove oil is a very good antibacterial agent against dental caries, and it exhibits local anesthetic property. Because of that, tooth paste and tooth powder contains eugenol as one of the ingredient. Here, this what he explained is, what is the J. Grush explained is, the fish as an experimental model, local anesthetics activity. Fish floats with the belly up. This was I tried to show you the experiment which was designed by me. So this flask contains lignocaine and also water, fresh water. What happens, because of the local anesthetics activity of lignocaine, the fish can able to float with its belly up. So the fish floats with the belly up and become immobile, indicates local anesthetics activity of the given drug. Now the zebrafish for embryo toxicity assessment. I have shown two photographs. A photograph is the fish treated with is a normal fish. The second diagram B is the embryos which is exposed with methyl mercury chloride. Methyl mercury chloride. It is highly embryo toxic in nature. So this embryo treated with vehicle or normal, we can able to distinct the organs like eye, brain, ear, and muscles. But this embryo, which is exposed with methyl mercury chloride, which is embryo toxic in nature, from 4 to 24 hours post fertilization, head and trunk structures severely malformed. Here, malformation of the various organs. The next animal which we are going to discuss is chicken as an alternative animal model for doing work against ovarian cancer, multiple sclerosis, epilepsy, and osteoporosis. So as a part of replacement alternatives, we have carried out anti-osteoporotic activity of the lady's finger with this chicken. The mucilaginous substance which is present in the lady's finger is highly rich with calcium, so that we have planned to evaluate anti-osteoporotic activity of the lady's finger against dexamethasone-induced osteoporosis. 2 weeks old chicken which we have got from the poultry house, and dexamethasone was given to induce osteoporosis, and test drug is also administered simultaneously. After 15 days, the parameters such as body weight and comb weight, femur and tibia, these are very easy parameters to evaluate. Length of the bone, inner and outer diameter of the femur and tibia, breaking strength, and calcium content of the femur bone ash. Microscopic examination of the bone cells to see osteoclast and osteoblast. This we can try. If we say any plant which is highly rich with the calcium ions, calcium, we can go for evaluation of the anti-osteoporotic activity by using the chicken. Now, the ideal isolated tissue preparation for biopsy fascial pollen is frog rectus abdominis muscle or leech dorsal muscle. Frog is completely banned. Leech, it's very difficult to do dissection because the dorsal muscle is very difficult to cut it out, and even the success rate of our experiment is very less. Instead of that, our students used to bring chicken ileum while coming to the college from the chicken shops, freshly sacrificed chicken. We used to get the ileum. With that ileum, we have so many receptors. With that ileum, we have carried out 4-point biopsy. The thing is that this experiment was done by our B Pharmacy students in a group. Suppose for PG project work, you want to do any work related with anti-osmotic or antihistamines, or related with the muscle, smooth muscle relaxant, etc. We can use the goat intestine as a model, or goat trachea for anti-osmotic activity, because the goat trachea as well as the intestine have many number of receptors. So the next animal, replacement alternative which we have used is Caenorhabditis elegans, C. elegans as an experimental animal model. The C. elegans, which is invertebrate animal, is non-infective, non-pathogenic, non-parasitic, which can be grown in agar plate by using the media which we will be using for E. coli. The C. elegans is only 1 mm in length, 1 millimeter in length, 80 micrometer in diameter. The life cycle is only 3 to 5 days at 20 degrees Celsius. Each elegans can produce 300 larvae at the same time. It is transparency in nature, so that we can directly observe the cellular phenotype. The C. elegans have 1,000 somatic cells. Out of these, 300 were neurons. 30% of the total somatic cells were made up of neurons. So this is an ideal animal model for developing drugs for cancer and neurodegenerative disorders. Only thing is you have to get it from the University of Minnesota, College of Biosciences, University of Minnesota. cgc@umn.edu. cgc@of University of Minnesota, umn.edu. This is the website address where we can make a request to the College of Bioscience to supply the C. elegans. After getting the C. elegans as a culture, we can grow it by using the media which is utilized for E. coli. Definitely our microbiology lab will have E. coli and the media, so that it is very easy to make culture and we can do the research by using C. elegans. So what we have done is we have evaluated anti-Parkinsonism activity of one plant material by using the C. elegans. The parameters such as lifespan study, locomotion behavior, analysis of dopaminergic neurodegeneration, stress resistance assay, laryngeal pumping assay, and chemotoxic assay. Here I would like to, this experiment which I have done in our laboratories, here you can see the movement of the C. elegans. It's similar to that of our active photometer principle. Active photometer principle, it is depending upon the movement of the animals. Here also this is a movement of this particular nematode. Parkinsonism means there will be poverty in movement. Parkinsonism means there will be poverty in movement. Anti-Parkinsonism means no poverty in movement. So by observing this C. elegans movement, we can say whether the Parkinsonism is induced by MPTP or it is relieved by our tested drugs. And this is the pharyngeal pumping. So you can see this pharyngeal pumping. The pharyngeal pumping is decreased in case of the Parkinsonism. This experiment we have designed we have done in our laboratories. Okay. Next experimental animal which I am going to discuss is fly as an experimental model. It is Drosophila, all those things is many areas of biological research, especially in genetics and development. And this model can be used for developing drugs for Alzheimer's disease as well as the Huntington disease. Here you can see is a wild type D. melanogaster. This is A, where we can see the normal compound eye with accurate arrangement of unit eyes. This is a normal fly. This is the fly which is exposed with the mutant. That means it is a mutant fly. The mutant fly, which has a small and rough compound eye with dramatically fewer chromatidia. So fly can be used to find out the mutagenic property of a particular drug. Now the pyrogen test. This is a conventional method of testing whether our parental preparation is pyrogen free or not by using the telethermometer. Inserting the proof into the anus and finding out the body temperature. Now this is completely replaced by bacterial endotoxin test, that is nothing but LOL test, Limulus amoebocyte lysate. So this, by using this LOL, Limulus amoebocyte lysate, the principle is lipopolysaccharide cause extracellular coagulation of the blood. That means hemolymph, which is obtained from the horseshoe crab, Limulus polyphemus. And the test can be performed by using three techniques, either by jet clot technique, turbidometric method, or chromogenic method. Now, these also completely replaced by monocyte activation test. So now, what is monocyte activation test? So this is unstimulated human monocyte, which is from the donated blood. Is unstimulated human monocyte. This is stimulated with pyrogen. The particular monocyte is stimulated with pyrogen. So the monocyte was stimulated with pyrogen. There will be release of the inflammatory mediators like interleukin 6. The interleukin 6 can be quantified by using the ELISA. It is a very simple method. No need to go for utilizing the rabbit or log test. So it is better than log test and the rabbit pyrogen test is called monocyte activation test. Apart from this, we are doing some of the experiments in student itself, where students are willing. For example, study of diabetes in human subject used to collect urine of the students and go for estimation of the sodium potassium by flame photometer, chloride ions by titrimetry, analgesics in human subject by using sphygmomanometer, where the pressure threshold can be increased. You know, this is very simple experiments. Biotransformation and excretion of drugs after administration of the aspirin. The urine has to be checked for presence of phenolic OH group by treating with its ferric chloride 1%. Okay, these are all tedious. You can say you can avoid these three experiments, but this experiment is very much interesting. The effect of coffee on psychomotor performance. This was originally designed by Christian Medical College, Ludhiana, Department of Pharmacology, Christian Medical College, Ludhiana. Test is 6-letter cancellation test. This was published in Indian Journal of Pharmacology. 6-letter cancellation test. Here, instruction, key section, and working section. In key section, we have 6 key letters J, T, K, M, U, F. And this is the working section. The students are advised to cancel the 6 key letters in the working section. The allotted time is only 45 seconds. Within 45 seconds, how many letters he can able to slash? That is our experiment. The same experiment has to be repeated after administration of 80 milligram of caffeine. That means 1 spoon of instant coffee, 1 spoon of instant coffee have 80 milligram of caffeine. So one group of students you administer only hot milk. To other group of students you administer hot milk with 80 milligram of caffeine. That means coffee. So our aim is whether coffee can able to increase our psychomotor performance or not. So after taking coffee, we can change the key letters, because when this practice is second successive times, you know, there may be chances of memory power, so that we can change the key letters. The second experiment is digit letter substitution test. Here you can see 1 to 9, and these numbers were substituted with the alphabet. That means 6 means you have to substitute E, 2 means you have to substitute H. This is called digit letter substitution test. This has to be carried out for 45 seconds before and after administration of the coffee. So definitely there will be increased psychomotor performance after administration of the coffee. So it is very easy to carry out in human volunteers. Now the time is 11:29. I will take another 10 minutes. About the absolute replacement. What is absolute replacement? No need to use animals. We can use cell lines, either human cell lines or invertebrate cell lines or tissues. Here, no need to test for skin irritation if pH is less than 2 or pH is more than 11.5. With the help of pH meter, you check your new chemical entity, and If the pH is below 2 or more than 11.5, you can say it is more acidic or more alkali. Definitely, it produces irritation to our skin and also our eye. No need to test for eye irritation if the chemical is a skin irritant, vice versa. If a substance is it produces eye irritation, definitely it produces skin irritation also. What is relative replacement? Humanic killing of animals to provide cells or tissues for in vitro studies. The best example for relative replacement study is here. We can sacrifice one rat after getting approval, or if any of your research scholar is sacrificing the rat, you try to get the intestine of the rat for your experiments. That is master cell stabilizing effect or master cell degranulating effect of your test drug. And this is the intestinal mesentery. This part is called intestinal mesentery. It is a fine membrane which is adhered on the intestine. And these intestinal mesenteries are highly rich with the master cell. So now the 1 centimeter square of this master cell after various processing, here we can see after administration of the propranolol, and this master cell is irrigated with the propranolol. Propranolol is the master cell degranulating agent. We can see here the degranulation of the master cell and release of histamine. And these two photographs, maybe one is a test drug, another one is the sodium chromoglycate, which is the master cell stabilizing drug, and this is the test drug. So by using this simple experiment, we can able to screen the drugs related with the histamines. Histamine means anti-allergic activity, anti-histaminic activity, anti-inflammatory activity, or anti-asthmatic activity. All these things are possible by using the simple relative replacement by using the intestinal mesentery. Now, earlier I said whether the result obtained from the animal studies can be transformed to human. As a pharmacologist, I can say usage of animal is must. Without animals, no practicals. But as a regulatory man, I say use of animals is completely waste. One example I would like to give is a comparison between the human eye and the animal eye, that is rabbit eye. In human eye, there is a more tear secretion because the tear secretion is one of the defense mechanisms that wash away the irritant. The less alkaline eye, the pH is between 7.1 and 7.3. The cornea is thicker than rabbit. The thickness of cornea is only 0.19 mm, 0.51 mm. Here, cornea is very thinner, that is 0.37 mm. The pH is 8.2. In case of rabbit, the more alkaline eye, pH is 8.2, whereas in human it is 7.1 and 7.3. So there are a lot of difference between the human eye and the rabbit eye. So in this circumstances, how we can transform the result which is obtained from the rabbit eye testing, and this is for various cosmetics, because the cosmetics is also comes under Drugs and Cosmetics Act. Whatever may be the cosmetic that has to undergo toxicity studies, for example, skin toxicity studies or eye toxicity studies. Whether it is lotion or gel or any items which is related with your makeup, nail polish, eyelashes, whatever it may be, that has to undergo the toxicological screening. So what we have done is, we have followed a ITEX test. Our aim is, even the many number of antibiotics which we are studying in your pharmacology book, only few antibiotics are comes under eye drops or eye ointment. What is the reason for that? It takes ciprofloxacin, a group of antibiotics, quinolone derivatives, a group of antibiotics, cephalosporin, a group of antibiotics, but all the cephalosporins are not formulated as an eye ointment or eye drops. All quinolones are not formulated as eye ointment or eye drops. What is the reason for that? The reason is they may be toxic to the eye. It may produce irritation to the eye. A simple method which we have developed is a vegetable protein which is extracted from the jack beans. This is the reported method. They have isolated a protein from the vegetable jack bean, and we have isolated a protein from some other sources. With that protein, if you add your test drug, if the solution becomes cloudier, definitely you can say that your test compound is irritation. It may produce irritation to our eye. Because like cornea of eye, the clear protein becomes cloudy upon contact with the irritant. The degree of cloudiness is measured by using spectrophotometer. And the justification for ITEX test is, three justifications: cells of cornea or RNA surround a tight collagen fibers in a tight mesh-like structure. When a cornea was damaged by irritant, spaces in mesh become disorganized. There may be swelling. Because of the swelling, the path of light passage into the eye is interpreted so that the eye looks like cloudier. Similarly, molecules of eye protein gel also have tightly organized structure which is changed by irritant. Hence, more irritant, more cloudier the gel appears. So this research we have carried out for as a project work for PG student. Next is EpiSkin, that is for skin irritation test. The new testing method was developed for assessing a chemical potential of cause skin irritation. Usually, it is a TRICE skin test, corrosivity test on rabbit skin. But nowadays we are following Epiderm, which is artificially made skin, human skin, by using the culture. For example, here you can see how we can make artificial human episkin by using the culture. So these are the adult skin cells are cultured and added to a dish which contains a layer of collagen gel. The skin cells which is taken from the donors of different races will produce ethnically diverse episkin sample. The sample is completely immersed in a medium containing water, sugar, and amino acid for 3 days. These are the nutrients for the growth of skin cell: water, sugar, and amino acid for 3 days. The cells begins to grow. After 3 days, top of the skin is exposed to the air for 10 days. That means it is 10 days old skin, allowing it to dry and creating a rough layer similar to that of real skin. Suppose if it is the age of the skin is too less, then we can pass some UV light to the skin, which is formed by the culture. If you pass some UV light, that make the skin aged. Right. Now we are going to add the cosmetics or our test compound on this layer of skin. Now the skin is done ready for the testing of cosmetics. So here we are replacing the TRIAS test, skin corrosive test in rabbit, by using simple artificial human episkin test. So with this, I have completed my lecture. If any queries or questions, we can ask. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Especially my thanks goes to Anbu. He is a very good friend of mine. Thank you, Dr. Anbu, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. An excellent presentation. Now, Satya Madam,
Yes, sir.
so, do you have any questions to ask?
Now the participants are requested to unmute themselves, and you can directly ask if you have any questions or clarifications. The participants are requested to unmute themselves and post any questions. Sir, I have doubt from my side, sir.
Please, madam.
Yes, sir. Sir, I would like to know about this software that you were telling, which deals with the blood-brain barrier likeness.
Yes, madam.
The Drulito software, sir.
Yes.
Sir, may I know the source and if possible, and if it is okay to tell the cost of that?
No, it is freely downloadable, madam. We can. It is by Department of Bioinformatics, Pharmacoinformatics of NIPER.
Okay, sir.
You can download it, madam, or you can make a request to the Department of Bioinformatics.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. In NIPER, right, sir?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Any questions from participant side? So we will wait for your response for another 1 or 2 minutes. Please unmute yourself.
Please, madam. They can ask me through mail also, madam. If
Yeah,
possible, you can share my mail ID also, my phone number also. Anbu sir is having my phone number and mail ID.
yes,
Yes.
sir. I will share with the participants.
Yes.
So, if at all any queries posted to your mail, you please
Definitely.
Yes, sir. Now, sir, thank you, sir. It was a very wonderful, very interesting, as well as very informative session, which we currently need it. This is the need of the hour that you have addressed. It has enlightened us very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Now, I request Dr. J. Anbu, Professor and HOD of Department of Pharmacology, to propose the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Satya. My dear colleagues, participants, and now we are marching towards the end of the today's webinar. So really, it is my honor and a privilege to conclude this session by extending a vote of thanks. And first of all, we are very much thankful to our management and the inspirational source, humble Vice Chancellor Dr. Reina. And also, I'm very much thankful to our PVC sirs, Dr. Sundaresh, Health Sciences at the PVC, and Dr. Kadambi sir, Research, for their continuous encouragement and support in conducting this kind of webinars. And also on behalf of all the faculty members of my Department of Pharmacology, I thank our Dean, Dr. S. Bharat, for his all-round contribution to the Faculty of Pharmacy with his certain proactiveness and also valuable guidance. And we are really fortunate to have an eminent speaker of today's webinar, the national known people, national known sir, Dr. Kamini sir, national level speaker. And in spite of his busy schedule, he agreed to deliver this talk. Actually, I requested him over phone, and immediately he agreed to give this talk. And we are very much thankful to you, sir. And in your discussion, you emphasized mainly on various simulation softwares as an alternative source for animal experimentation. And I also explained about docking softwares. So I 100% believe that this will be very much helpful to all the young researchers. And I am very, very, very thankful to you for your enlightening speech. So definitely it will be useful for young researchers and in the field of pharmacy. And on behalf of Department of Pharmacology, Faculty of Pharmacy, and all the participants, I profusely thank Dr. Kamini sir for your thought-provoking speech, sir. And I wish to express my heartfelt gratitude to Mrs. Satya, Assistant Professor for delivering the welcoming remarks to this auspicious occasion. And I would like to convey my sincere appreciation to Mr. Damodar Naik, who coordinated all this event right from the beginning of issuing the flyer and also circulating all the information to all the participants. So I would like to convey my sincere thanks to him. And on my personal behalf and on behalf of Department of Pharmacology, Faculty of Pharmacy, I profusely thank all the participants who patiently listened to his talk and for their active participation and support and presence in making this program a noteworthy success. Thank you one and all. So if you have any clarification and further, so just you post your questions to his mail. I will share immediately his phone, contact number and also mail ID. So definitely in future also you can communicate him. He's such a nice person. So at any time, actually to be frank, yesterday night at 11 o'clock also I disturbed him. So even in the late night, and he was able to respond with a lot of patience. So such a kind person. So please share your questions. Definitely that will be helpful for you. So all the very best, and thank you one and all, and thank you very much, Kavimani sir. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
thank you very much, sir.